I've now got with me one of the new members to the team this year, Craig Bosch from New Zealand. First of all, welcome to England, and how are you looking forward to this test series?
Pretty good. I'm really looking forward to it. Got real good tracks over here. The track surface looks quite good, so hopefully it should be a good night.
Is it a smaller track here than what you're used to in New Zealand?
A little bit smaller, but there is tracks in New Zealand like that. But that was a good track. I like it.
Obviously, it was an Aussie team that came over last year, and I think the Australians were very surprised how close the English boys run them. Have you heard about last year's test series?
A little bits and pieces. This should be quite a bit different this year, but 5 teams from around the world should be quite good.
Is it a big sport in New Zealand? Compared to the speedway, or because the sidecar boys in Australia are the top dogs and the speedway boys solos ride second fiddle? Is that the same in New Zealand?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really quite big in New Zealand. There's a big field all over the place.
And then how are you looking forward to coming back here to Reading for the unofficial World Championship in a fortnight's time?
That'll be good, yeah. Hopefully my bike's going to go right on this sort of track. I haven't had a practice yet, so I don't know what I'm in for.
I've now got with me the #1 for the Eurocar World All-Stars, Shane Soutar. Shane, you know this Reading track. You were over the Australian side last season.
That's right, yes, we have been here once before, and it seems like a long time ago. It's, the old butterflies are cruising along and everybody's got new equipment and new passengers and new bikes, so it's all start again really.
How's it going to be different this time? Last year it was just the Australian team. You've got New Zealanders and everybody in the side tonight.
Well, last year when we came over, we knew a little bit about our team, being all Aussies. We knew what they were going to do and what they were capable of. So we've got a mixed bag this time, so it's a little bit hard to know where to put who and who to put who with. And so I think tonight's meeting is going to sort a lot of things out.
I think it's fair to say that the Australians were somewhat surprised how close they were held by the English side here last year, because virtually most of our lads are just grass track racers.
That's right, yeah. We had heard how fierce the grass track races were, and we did expect a fair bit of strife, but a lot of the boys were surprised, but I surely wasn't. I knew what to expect. I'd seen Paul and Alan out home before, and they're very fast.
And obviously this track's a little bit smaller here. Must take a little bit of adapting to after big wide Australian circuits.
Too right, it does. Yeah, we have a big variety of tracks. We've got massive mile tracks down to the small tracks like yours, and we tend to ride a lot of the bigger tracks, so it sort of makes it hard, but it's all part of the fun.
And what's the basic difference between your outfit and a conventional English grass track outfit?
These tend to be a fair bit shorter in the rear of the bike. The motor's right on the rear wheel to give you a little bit more drive on the shale. Basically, there's not a real lot of difference. It's a different motor setup, more of a low-down pulling motor than something that's going to go fast on a bigger grass track, and a lot less suspension.
If we can bring your passenger in now, Glenn, what's the difference to pastoring one of these outfits to passenger, say, a road outfit?
Well, I've never been on a road outfit, but with these you've got to work a lot more and just be there sort of thing.
It's going to be a tight first corner out there. There's 4 outfits going in very, very close together. What's going through your mind when you're hanging over that back wheel?
Nothing much. You just got to try and keep together, and we've got a track like this back home, corner-wise and that, but, should be like that a bit.
And obviously you must have great confidence in your driver. You've got to go where he takes you else.
Yeah, you've got to have confidence in each other, and you've got to work with the rider and work with the bike.
And obviously after tonight the main aim is for the unofficial world title here in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, well, it comes a bit of a shock. We didn't expect to be called an unofficial world title. That's something we weren't ready for, but I guess it really does mean that, and we'll take it as it comes.
I've now got with me one of the English Lions, Rob Henderson. Rob, you rode in the series last year, and it was a real good series, and I think the English boys really surprised the Aussies last year.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of bad luck. We had a lot of machine problems and bad luck, especially in Coventry, which we should have won really. We were a bit unfortunate, I think, but...
How do you personally alter your style for tonight for the conventional grass track racing?
Well, it's just entirely different really. I packed up grass track altogether now, and I just concentrate on doing the speedway.
And you really enjoy the speedway after many years of grass tracking?
Oh yeah, it's a bit more sophisticated.
And obviously the corner's probably a little bit tighter. It's not very wide here at Reading. There's 4 got to go into that first corner together. What goes through your mind as you enter that first corner?
Well, it's always nice to get there first, and you know you've got a clear road.
And obviously it's tight all the way around compared to the grass track. You've got the ropes and you've got farther to go. If you get knocked off line here, you really can't afford to make mistakes, can you?
That's right. You just you can't really make any mistakes because everything is so bunched up, and it's very close racing, and that's what makes it good fun.
As the rider's been with Paul since he started the World of Rebels, do you wish he'd have started a long time ago, possibly when you're a little bit younger in your career?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people probably when it started last season didn't quite know what to expect, but they came and I think they were very pleased with what they did see.
That's right, yeah. I think we generally put a good show up, and of course the Australians have taught us a lot of things. We've got Paul to thank for everything we know, including bikes and technology and so forth.
I've now got with me, he's finally got into his leathers, and after an afternoon of frantic work, Paul, he finally got it together for another season of high-class speedway racing with sidecars.
That's right. I thought last year was hard work, but this year's even harder. But we've got a fair selection of people from around the world here, so hopefully it'll be even better than last year.
I think a lot of the cynics didn't quite know what to expect last year, possibly stayed away, but word got round that it really was worth coming to watch sidecars on the speedway.
That's right. I think they had the ones that came had a shock and were entertained really well, and they're back with lots more friends this year, and word spread across the world, and we've got foreign visitors and everything here this year, so it's all looking good.
Is this your idea to mix the visiting team up rather than have the complete Aussie side? You've got the New Zealanders and the Americans in. Was this your idea, Paul?
Yeah, well, there's 5 countries that race sidecars, and all 5 are represented here. So, you know, I think it is even better than having just a repeat of Australia. Let the people over here know that the rest of the world do run sidecars to a good degree. So, hopefully, some sparks will be flying tonight.
I think the English boys really did very well and really surprised the Aussies. 1 or 2 mechanical gremlins, particularly at Coventry, if my memory serves me correctly, you and Alan Artis shared the same bike most of the night. Have you got those little things put right for this series?
Hopefully, I've got a new engine in my machine, and Alan's got a brand new bike for tonight, so hopefully they'll be good. But the rest of the team are coming on good too. They've been, since last year, they've sort of got the bit between the teeth, and they've come on really well. What was the biggest change? The likes of Rob Henderson, Alan Artis have been riding grass track for a long time. What was the biggest change for them to convert to the speedway? I think they've left the grass track alone and concentrated on the speedway, and they've worked on their machines to get them the engines. You need special engines for speedway, and they've all worked on their engines to get that sorted out. So you know that they've actually done that and got a lot more meetings under the belt, so they're actually going good.
You've gone from 1 country, you've now got 4 here tonight. How long before we have an official World Championship in this country, do you think?
Well, on the 18th of this month, there's a World Championship format open meeting for all 5 countries at Reading here, and that'll be the nearest thing to a World Final. The FIM are just having a look at it now, actually, to sort of try and sort out to actually get a World Championship. So. Hopefully all the boys who's visited over here will go back to their own countries and spread the word over there too. So.
Thanks so much, Paul. I know you're very busy, and Rob Henderson's just warming up, so perhaps have a word with you at the interval. Thanks very much.
Thank you. See you later.
Cheers, Paul. I've now got with me probably the bravest young lady in Reading Speedway, Pam Shaw. Pam, you're going to be partnering Albert Lewis tonight. How long has this partnership been going on the Speedway?
Well, I started in about 87, but I rode with somebody else last year as well, so I've sort of been off and on, really.
You've really got a bit of a hard act to follow, because Lisa Pinfall was very good when she partnered Paul.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Following her shoes.
How difficult is it being a lady in a world of men and motorbikes and things like that?
Well, I find I've been accepted pretty well, really. You don't get any, you sort of fit in with them quite well.
And obviously Albert Lewis has been on the grass track for a long time. You must have great confidence in Albert to be prepared to go on the back of him on that sidecar.
Oh yeah, it's complete trust, but then it's the same for him with me.
It's pretty tight. It's not very wide here at Reading. There's 4 of you going into the corner together. What goes through your mind when you get to that corner 4 abreast?
Well, when you get out there, it always seems much wider than when you're actually looking at it from the crowd point of view. So you know that there's enough room.
They always say that the ladies are the fairer sex. You have no problem with the strength angle of hanging on to the sidecar and manoeuvring from back wheel and back into the chair itself?
No trouble. I've been doing some weight training to strengthen up a bit, in the arms especially. But it's no problem.
Thanks so much, and thanks, having with us, and best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
As they come round to the start line, Jen Shearer and Leah Pinfold, the mascots, lead the two teams. The England Sunbright Tigers and the Eurocar World All-Stars. The very, very first test match here in the UK between these two. Right, ladies and gentlemen, without ado, we'll start. And we'll start with our visitors. The Eurocar World All-Stars. At number 1, the Australian champion, Shane Suter, with Robert Redwood as the passenger. At number 2, another Australian, Warren Stanton, with Beth Litterick as passenger. At number 3, it's one of the New Zealand champions, it's Craig Bush with John Bowkett. Number 4, we saw him last year here when he rode for the Australians. Gary Moon, the North Queensland champion, with Paul Norton in the chair. At number 5, it's the veteran, 41-year-old Steve Horton and Glenn Golding. Steve, of course, is the runner-up in the Australian Championship behind Shane. At number 6, it's the American champion, Steve Stanton. And in the passenger chair, it's Tom Tuft. At number 7, the other New Zealand champion, Aaron Dwight, with Mark Goodyear. At number 8, all the way from South Africa, Leon Vermack, with Clive Malloy from the Midlands in the chair. That's the Eurocar World All-Stars. And for England, the England Sunbright Tigers, the unofficial British number 1, and number 1 tonight, Paul Pinfold with Pete Foster. At number 2, it's the bearded Brummie and veteran Albert Lewis with Pam Shore in the chair. At number 3, it's young Brian Ash and Steve Robbins. At number 4, another one of the veterans, Alan Artis and Craig Hall, former British grass track champions. At number 5, former Midland Road Racing champion, Rob Henderson with Martin Eden. At number 6, it's Mick Cave and Alan Cave. At number 7, it's Mark Newsom and Brian Higgins. And at number 8, from down there in the south, it's Terry Phillips with Kevin Williams. And that's the lineup for the England Sunbright Tigers. The managers for England are Tim Sugar, and for the Eurocar World All-Stars, it's Mitch Shearer. Let battle commence. Just listen to the roar of those machines. Basic designs which dominate the sport today are developments of Paul Pinfold's initial concept he dreamed up 10 years ago when he went to Australia. And just listen to the sound of those machines. If you've never seen sidecars before, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat. The rest of the world win the toss and they take gates 1 and 3. 1 and 3 for the rest of the world. At the time when Paul Pinfold changed the design of sidecars in Australia, the old-fashioned machines were just bank sidecars bolted on the side. And of course Paul came up with purpose-built machines. And of course soon the Aussies had the welding torches out. And you can see exactly what they've got here. main chassis loop constructed from a mix of 20 and 22 gauge chrome alloy tubing. There's no rear suspension and leading link front forks are used. The chassis is fully adjustable at the sidecar wheel and for overall wheelbase to suit the varying conditions of the length of the tracks. Tyre rules indicate either a 19-inch speedway tyre or an 18-inch tyre may be used. The sidecar wheel can be anything from 16 inches to 19 inches. And of course some of these drivers have never seen a British track from the Euro team. They've never ever seen the small British tracks, unless of course it's Steve Stanton. And Steve Stanton, the American, is used to racing on those 190-yard Californian tracks. The most popular machines, of course, the Kawasaki Z900 and Z1000s, of course the Suzukis, and Gary Moon, Craig Bush are on FZR 1000 Yamahas, fuel injected with 150 black lip horsepower, which is equivalent, of course, to the road racing machines.
So out we come for the first heat of action tonight then. Paul Pinfold rides in red, Albert Lewis rides in blue, Shane Sutar in white and Warren Stanton in yellow and black. Of course anti-clockwise tonight the chairs. Shane Sutar, the new Australian champion, took over from Darren Treloar in the winter. Of course Darren Treloar absolutely scintillating form last year in this series. Anyway, the Euro World Stars have got 1 in 3. Shane Sutar gate 1, Paul Pinfold gate 2, Warren Stanton gate 3, and Albert Lewis with passenger Pam Shaw gate number 4. Settling then for heat 1 of this first match of the series away, and it's Pinfold making a tremendous gate. Sutar gets it with it. Lewis has got the third, but Lewis goes one and Stanton moves through the third, and as Pinfold goes too wide in that first corner, and Sutar superbly inside Pinfold. It's Sutar leads into the top corner for the first time. It's Pinfold in second, and Lewis again having a great race with Stanton in third. Lewis again too wide coming off the corner, and Stanton it is who moves through into third spot. And it's Pinfold then gets back inside Sutar and leads into the top corner once again. Good action there by Paul Pinfold. Again he overslides on the top corner, but Sutar overslides and almost clipped the safety fence coming off that top corner. As into the pits corner once again, it's Pinfold with a good lead. It's Sutar in second, Stanton in third. Lewis trying to come back from the inch of Stanton for that crucial third spot as they start to spread themselves out now as they move on to lap number 4. Pinfold, the England skipper, with a tremendous lead over the reigning Aussie champion Sutar as they make their way into the pits corner for the final time. It's still a good scrap for the odd point in the back, but still Stanton hangs on to that third. But what a great start for the England Sunbright Tigers as Paul Pinfold comes from the back to win heat 1 in superb style. Second is Shane Sutar. Third spot after a good scrap, it's Warren Stanton, and it's a 3-all there in heat number 1.
The results of race 1. In first place in red, Paul Pinfold and Pete Foster, in a winning time of 66.8. 66.8. Second in white, Shane Sutar. And there was a change in the passenger seat. It's Glenn McDonald. Glenn McDonald, they changed there. And in third place, in yellow, is Warren Stanton, Beth Litterick. This will be very, very interesting because in white, Steve Stanton from America, he's the American champion. He's used to racing those very, very tiny tracks of America, those 190-yard tracks in California. He has raced on the larger Ascot track, so we'll see how he goes. His passenger, Tom Tuft, is a firefighter by trade.
Two then, Mick Cave rides in red, Mark Newsom rides in blue, Steve Stanton in white, Aaron Dwight in yellow and black. I can remember that Mark Newsom had a disastrous start to the series, was smashed up in heat number 2 at Coventry, took no further part in that meeting, and he in fact has got a few few bike problems at the gate there, and referee in charge like Graham Brodie, of course, refereed the world final in Boynes a few seasons ago for solos. So a top official in charge tonight, as we have Mick Cave moving back into line in gate number 1. It's Steve Stanton in gate 2, Mark Newsom in 3, Aaron Dwight in 4. 4 riders eager at the start, a clean break, and it's Cave who makes a good gate, and it's a real bunching of the places. Newsom tries to get through and takes Dwight really wide in England, pack 1 and 2 at the back for the first time, as it's Cave who shows then from Newsom. It's Dwight in 3rd, stands at the back, and that's the order coming off the top corner. The England boys shoulder to shoulder, moving on to lap number 2. We're still Cave shows for Newsom. It's Dwight trying to find a way through and through, and gets through nice inside Newsom to move through into 2nd. And we've got a race in our hands now. There's Cave, Showson, Dwight, and Newsom trying to get back round Dwight on that top corner. They're 2 abreast coming off the bottom corner, and Dwight goes right through and takes a lead. He's come right through from last to first in superb style, locks it up on that pits corner, and it's Cave trying to look for line back round the outside. But what a great ride there by Aaron Dwight. His first appearance in this country, locks it up coming up the top corner, and leads going on to lap 4. It's still Cave in 2nd, Newsom in 3rd. These 3 pulling away from Stanton as they make their way into the pits corner for the final time. Still Dwight with a good advantage. It's Cave and Newsom packing the places, so a 3-all again in heat number 2. A good win there for Aaron Dwight, coming right through for the back, and he's delighted about his success there. He wins heat number 2. 2nd is Mick Cave, and the 3rd spot, it's Mark Newsom.
The results of heat 2. In 1st place, in yellow-black, it was Aaron Dwight, in a winning time of 68.6. 68.6. 2nd in red, Mick and Alan Cave. And 3rd in white, I should say blue, 3rd in blue. 3rd in blue, Mark Newsom. Winning time was 68.6. Young lady who was out there just now, Beth Litterick, she's 26. She's the fast lady of racing out there in Australia. Former passenger to the Australian champion Ed Blakeney, who won the Western Australian crown, 2 Queensland titles, and also runner-up in the 88 Australian Championship. So she may be only 26, she may be a young lady, but she certainly won some trophies in her time there. Beth Litterick.
Across the pits and wait for the riders for heat number 3. Rob Henderson rides in red, Alan Artis in blue. Alan, one of the great successes of last year's test series, rode particularly well in all the matches, and really backed up Paul Pinfold. In white, it's Steve Horton, of course. He was over here with the Aussie boys last year, as is the rider in yellow and black, Gary Moon.
Gary Moon from Australia. He rode here last year for the Australians. And he's on a fire-breathing, fuel-injected FZR 1000 this year. His new passenger, Paul Norton, member of the Aussie test team here last year. Moon has previously won the Queensland Best Pairs and the North Queensland title in 1989. And of course, he's the past winner of the Barrier Reef 1000. That's the big event over there in Australia.
So as they come onto the track then, up to the tapes, for heat number 3, we're going to have Gary Moon on gate number 1. Remember him in his green and yellow outfit from last year. Rob Henderson looks to me like Alan Artis. They haven't got the proper helmet colours on. In fact, Alan Artis is on the inside in 2, in 3 Steve Horton, in 4 Rob Henderson, and it's a real ragged start. The tapes didn't go up properly. The races continue, the red lights shine already, and up goes the hand of Alan Artis.
The race will be rerun with all 4 riders.
And the riders, in fact, look as if they want to go back up to the pits. The pits gate is still closed, so they're going to move back round. Rob Henderson, 45 years of age. A lot of these sidecar lads have been at it for a long time. Albert Lewis, another veteran, and of course Alan Hart is a former British champion on the grass. He too well into his 40s now, but very competitive, lots of guts to still take part in these events. And it's Alan Artis who's up to the pits for a few last minute adjustments. So Alan Artis, a lot of work has been done on his bike. I think Graham Brodie rather generous with the 2-minute time allowance for the restart of Heat 3. Anyway, it's Gary Moon on gate 1, Alan Artis on gate 2, Steve Horton gate 3, Bob Henderson gate 4. Henderson makes a good gate from the 4 gate, but it's Moon who hits the front. Horton gets round the edge to Johnny. Artis trying to split them up, but he's tucked wide on the first corner. Moon shows in Horton, and Artis trying to get through inside Horton, gets through inside Horton on that first corner, goes in tight but overslides on the corner. Horton gets back through on the inside, but Gary Moon already burning himself a good lead now as they make their way into the pits corner for the second time. Artis in second, Moon Horton in third. Henderson towed off at the back as into that top corner they go once again, and the riders fighting that front, whereas it once go one way, trying to turn it back the other way into the pits corner again, and Artis getting a bit closer to Moon. Moon goes wide coming off the pits corner. Artis definitely closed the gap there, about 3 bikes between them as Moon shows for Artis. It's Horton in third, Henderson already towed off at the back as they move on to lap number 4, and still about 3 or 4 bikes between them as Moon leads into that pits corner again. He overslides. Can Artis get the run up the inside? He's got his wheels straightened up a little bit quicker. There's a couple of bikes between them now. Could be an interesting one off the corner. Moon's really overslide. A chance for Artis to come through a great race for the line, and Moon has just hung on to it. And there goes Alan Artis right onto the centre green there. I think Elijah in danger on the middle here, because Alan Artis took that so tight the bike left the track and went on the centre green. Gary Moon really oversliding coming off that top corner, but in my opinion he just hung on to it. Second there Alan Artis, third spot Steve Horton. The first heat advantage of the evening goes to the Eurocar World All-Stars, and as I saw it they picked up a 4 to Alan Artis. I think thinks he's won that one. He's come round for the applause of the crowd, but I think that it may well have been, in my opinion, Gary Moon just hung on for his victory, but we'll leave it to Graham Brodie.
Right, the result of Heat 3. In first place in yellow is Gary Moon and Paul Norton in a winning time of 68.4. 68.4. Second in blue, Alan Artis and Craig Hall. Third in white, Steve Horton and Glenn Golding. 8 points now progressively for England, and 10 points to the World All-Stars. Brian Ash, the hard man of the England team, Puma Kawasaki, he's known as Bash, i.e. because his name is B. Ash, Brian Ash, not because he bashes everybody else off the track, of course. That's Brian Ash. Of course, he's also known as young Brian Ash. I thought he was only a youngster when he was here earlier in the year. He's 39 years old, is Brian. Steve Robbins is the passenger. Steve is 24 years old. He's been with Brian Ash since last year, but he's had 7 years experience on the grass. Here we go then. In red, Brian Ash. In blue, Big Cave. In white, Craig Bush. And in yellow and black, orange white. The New Zealander, orange right. Really flying. In blue is Mick Cave, and of course Brian Ash there, the burly Brian Ash in third place. Hanging on for grim death. Craig Bush there, right at the back, the New Zealander, but he likes that inside line. Craig Bush really trying hard, pushing Brian Ash at the back there, trying all he can on the inside line. The England Tiger will have to hold the inside there to hold that third place. Just look at the passenger there of orange white, Mark Goodyear, getting right over the machine there as they go past the pits. Beautiful style there from the New Zealander. The result of Heat 4. In first place in yellow and black It's the New Zealander Aaron Dwight with Mark Goodyear in the chair. Winning time 68.6. 68.6. Second in blue for the English Tigers, Mick and Alan Cave. Third in red, Brian Ash and Steve Robbins. Well, so far with 2 race wins there, Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear from New Zealand, certainly showing us what they can do over here on our British tracks. They've probably never ever seen a British track before, so that's an incredible start for those riders. Aaron Dwight, of course, he's the youngest driver, 22 years old, and of course he's on that Golden Wing twin. I expect to see a few of the other drivers change the Goldens if the Golden can go that fast. And he was crowned New Zealand ACU champion. And as I mentioned earlier, his father and grandfather have won 5 New Zealand titles between them. It's Aaron Dwight. On that first bend. Rob Henderson out there going well. And Shane Suter, of course. Shane Suter there in second place. All the World All-Stars. Number 4, Alan Artis, former British grass track champion, holding off the Australian champion nicely there. Australian champion going wide. Alan Artis there running very, very well. Started with the second place. Now holding off the top rider there from Australia. Just look at the passenger, Shane Suter, getting off that machine. Some incredible antics by the passenger, Shane Suter there. Glenn McDonald, certainly spectacular on the chair there as they start the last lap. Alan Artis, Shane Suter. Followed by Rob Henderson, and way back in yellow-black, Warren Stanton and Beth Litterick. Hand goes in the air there for Alan Artis, for the England Tigers, who takes the checkered flag. The result of Heat 5. First, in blue, Alan Artis and Craig Hall, in a winning time of 67.8. 67.8. Second in white, Shane Suter, Glenn McDonald. Third in red, Rob Henderson and Martin Eden, winning time of 67.8. 4 points to England, 2 points to the world, making it 15 points each. And the action hots up. And did you see that sidecar passenger, Glenn McDonald there, with Shane Suter? Right off the machine he was. It must be crazy out there in Australia.
Paul Pinfold, the England captain there, just talking with the World All-Stars team manager. Mick Shearer, I think, might be making a change for this race. Number 6. Paul, of course, convincing winner. First time out, winning heat number 1, and the winning time in fact there for Alan Artis, 67.8, the second quickest of the night so far. And in fact there is going to be a change though. It's Aaron Dwight that's going to ride in yellow and black in for Steve Stanton. Steve Stanton, the American champion, of course, was last first time out, and Mitch Shearer straight away makes full use of his in-form reserve for Aaron Dwight, comes in for reserve ride in heat 6.
And in come Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear. Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear going yellow. So, undefeated so far. Sorry to mess your programs around. Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear go in white. So the Americans...
Big Bush, of course, in fact, failed to score himself last time out. But Steve Stanton is who gets pulled out. Away they go, and Pinfold winner first mate makes a great. And it's Bush who looks for line through on the inside, Dwight at the back, but Dwight trying to get through, and Dwight gets it, really goes up the Pinfold. They make their way back straight the first time. It's Pinfold being pushed by Dwight. It's Lewis in third, and Craig Boyce at the back, and that's the order coming to the complete one, and the leading two already starting to pull away. As Paul Pinfold, successfully heat number 1, goes wide, gets a drip, and Dwight again looks for a quick line through on the inside. These two, pulling away from Albert Lewis, grimly hanging on to a third with Craig Bush at the back. And if Albert Lewis can hang on to that third, of course, England will go in front, as Pinfold seems to know exactly what Dwight's trying to do. Dwight on beat for his opening two, could taste defeat to the England's number one as they lead into the top corner once again. Still Pinfold who shows from Dwight. Lewis and passenger Pam Shaw grimly hanging on to that third spot. So it looks if two consecutive 4-2s could put the English back in front. As Pinfold from Dwight, Lewis still in third, and Stanton can make the American champion, can make no impression in the back as they move through, and it's a good win there for Paul Pinfold. Second is Aaron Dwight, and in third spot, picking up his first point, Albert Lewis, and England come from behind, and with 2 4-2s, they nudge now into a 19-17 lead.
The result of Heat 6. In first place in red was Paul Pinfold and Pete Foster in a winning time of 66.4. 66.4. Second in white, Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear, the New Zealand replacements. Third in blue, Albert Lewis and Pam Shore. 4 points to England, 2 points to the world, which makes it 19 points now to England and 17 points to the world. Winning time 66.4.
So riders getting ready for heat number 17. Brian Ash there over in the far corner, talking to Mick Cave, and Gary Moon just pushing his outfit out. Successful last time out, of course, after a great scrap with Alan Artis, and Steve Horton, his partner in this race number 7. England with a 19-17 lead. Few bike problems for Gary Moon. Back on the track now, and on the 2-minute time allowance for race number 7. And Gary, of course, that terrific scrap with Alan Artis in race number 3. So England doing particularly well at the moment, 19-17 ahead. And once again, Paul Pinfold showing that he can mix it with the best of them on this sidecar speedway. Steve Horton second in the Australian Championships at the age of 41. You don't find too many youngsters, particularly in England, taking up the grass track and sidecar speedway racing. So it's going to be Brian Ash on gate 1, Steve Horton gate 2, Mick Cave gate 3, and that will give Gary Moon gate number 4. So we wait for Steve Horton to move into line in that 2 gate, and Gary Moon off his bike in the 4 gate. Still not 100% happy with that machine, I don't think. And Steve Horton's bike is packed up at the start. That's going to be a push job. And Gary Moon, he's to frantically working on his bike, and they've been on the 2-minute time allowance for quite a time. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what Graham Brody does, how hard he enforces the 2-minute rule, because time must be slipping away for Gary Moon, who I think has had a few problems back in the pits. A quick push from the passenger, the bike's away, and in fact Gary's had to change the machine. Usually resplendent green and yellow colours of Australia. That bike has gone back in the pits, and it's a change of machinery for Gary Moon for race number 7. And the 4 riders back into line. So Brian Ash gate 1, Gary Horton, Steve Horton gate 2, Mick Cave gate 3, Gary Moon gate 4 away, and Cave lifts rather badly at the start, and Moon has come down, and my word, Cave has gone into Moon's passenger, and Cave's passenger's down as well, but Moon's passenger's up and okay. That was very, could have been very nasty indeed there. Cave it was who lifted rather badly at the start, and he got it down, but then Gary Moon lost his passenger at the 30-yard mark, and Mick Cave went into the back of Gary Moon's passenger, and Gary Moon heading right for us at the moment. And the passenger walking okay. You can see his focus on Gary Moon's body.
The race 7 will be rerun with 3 riders. The driver in yellow, Gary Moon, is excluded as cause of the stoppage of the race. Gary Moon is excluded, and the other 3 drivers go for heat 7.
As a line up for the restart of race 7, and it's Horton. In fact, he makes a good gate. Ash gets out with him, Cave in 3rd, and that's the order. Coming off the pits corner, Horton goes wide. Ash looking for the line through on the inside, come off that corner almost together. But it's still Horton who shows for Ash, who switches the attack to an outside line, moving into the top corner, cuts back from the inside line. We've got a good action here, and Horton goes one. Ash has got to run up the inside, and Ash nicely through. Horton back round the outside, they move into that pits corner, absolutely shoulder to shoulder, and it's Horton who retakes again. Ash comes back up the inside, and they're still locked shoulder to shoulder into the top corner. Once Horton overslides the chance for Ash to come through on the inside, but he isn't quick enough. He's back through again, and they touch as they go under the starting gate. As Horton shows for Ash, Cave in 3rd, now Cave coming back into contention, but Horton slowly but surely pulling away from Brian Ash as they move into the top corner for the 3rd time. It's Cave in 3rd, so England can't take advantage of the World Stars only having one rider in this heat number 7. As Horton into the pits corner then for the final time, and up the back straight he goes, pulling well away from Brian Ash. Cave in 3rd, so a 3-all again as they move off the top corner, and Thurgood played a good win there for Steve Horton 2nd, and he really pushed Steve Horton hard on those first couple of laps. They certainly banged coming under the gate for the 2nd lap. It's Brian Ash in 2nd and Mick Cave finishes in 3rd, 3 apiece, and England still have that 2-point cushion. England 22, the World All-Stars have 20 after some great speedway there in race number 7.
The result of race 7, first in white, Steve Horton in a time of 69 seconds. Second in red, Brian Ash. 3rd in blue, Mick Cave. Winning time again, 69 seconds. 3 points to England, 3 points to the World All-Stars. England lead 22 to 20. Now we go into heat 8, and in red, it's Albert Lewis and Pam Shore. In blue, Mark Newsom and Brian Higgins. In white, Warren Stanton and Beth Litterick. And in yellow and black, it's Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear, who've already scored 8 points.
Aaron Dwight, 8 points and 3 rides, should be favourite for this heat 8. He's in yellow and black. Anyway, it's Mark Newson, gate 1, Aaron Dwight, gate 2, Albert Lewis, gate 3, and Dwight makes a tremendous gain. And trouble there for Mark Newson, made a good gate, but something's gone wrong and he's off the track already. And there goes Lewis, cutting back inside Stanton's to make their way into that top corner once again, but Lewis again goes wide. Stanton's got to run up the inside, and Lewis almost comes to a stop coming up that top corner. And the World Stars pack 1 and 2. That's the first time a 5-1 situation has occurred in the meeting so far tonight. As Dwight already a long way clear as he moves into that top corner for the 2nd time. It's Stanton in 2nd and Lewis and Newsom battling it out for the odd point, and it's Newsom moves to 3rd and sets about chasing Stanton for the 2nd spot. There's Dwight a long way clear at the front. His pass looks behind. He's on a good lead over Stanton. Stanton again comes under pressure for Newsom as they make their way off that top corner and through to move on to lap number 4, and a mistake by Stanton, and it's Newsom who comes through and clips Stanton as well as he came through there, as it's Dwight who leads off the back straight for the final time, and he's slowing right up. I think his bike, I think he's just kidding there. He's got his bike home. He seems having some difficulty, in fact, but he gets his bike home for a winning ride. 2nd and coming right through for the back is Mark Newsom for a good 2nd. The 3rd spot, it's Warren Stanton. Newsom, who made a good gate, but the bike died after leaving the line, and he made up an awful lot of ground to get through in the 2nd spot.
In first place, in yellow, Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear in a winning time of 70.6. 70.6. 2nd in white, Warren Stanton and Beth Litterick. 3rd in red, Albert Lewis and Pam Shore. With the blue helmeted riders, Mark Newsom and Brian Higgins excluded for leaving the track. So that's 5 points to the Eurocar World All-Stars, 1 point to the England Sunbright Tigers, with the progressive score now 23 points to England, 25 points to the world, and the World All-Stars fight back. We've got the vintage boys here for you, and already out onto the track is the Dirt Track Douglas, ridden by Brian Bassett. Brian Bassett on the Dirt Track 1929 Douglas, pre-war Hackney body colour. He's a former cycle speedway ace. Nearest the grandstand in the yellow helmet is Brian Bassett on the dirt track, Douglas. Next to him on a dirt track, Rudge. And already we have somebody going for the takes, and that's Jim Heritage. He's a Midland grass track rider who turned to vintage racing recently. Former vintage 350 grass track champion. The other riders out there, Alan Paytis, he's on a 1930 Rudge. He's wearing the old West Ham body colours. And Alan used to be a car rally driver, grass track rider down there at Swindon. And of course he's racing regular on this 1930 Rudge, owned by John Stolworthy. Jim Heritage is on a 1930 Rudge belonging to Bill Davis. Jim Gregory should also be out here. That's Jim at the back there with the old Oxford body colour on. Jim Gregory with the Putty Basin style helmet started Speedway just after the war in Egypt, North Africa. He was then signed by Wembley, and he rode for Wembley, Wimbledon, and Oxford, and he was the Oxford 1953 captain. That's him in second place. The rider out in front started Speedway in 1947 with Bristol. That's Bob Jones from Swindon. He then rode for Bristol in 1948. He's 71 years old, ladies and gentlemen. The rider in front is 71 years old. Bob Jones from Swindon. He rode for Swindon. He was their team manager. He was their machine examiner. He was their captain. And he went to 1,000 meetings without missing one at Swindon. How about that then? Bob Jones, 71 years old, on a dirt track Rudge. That's him in front with the white helmet. Then it's Alan Paytis, I mentioned. Then it's Jim Gregory. In third place is John Paytis in the blue helmet, also a youngster who's just started vintage racing. And at the back with the old dirt track Douglas, the very first purpose-built speedway machine, the dirt track Douglas, bringing up the rear. Starting our last lap now, Bob Jones it is. Bob Jones from Alan Paytis, then is Jim Gregory, then is John Paytis, and then is Brian Bassett at the back. So we have a gaggle of dirt track Rudge machines with the Douglas at the back. 71-year-old Bob Jones takes a checkered flag. Then it's Alan Paytis, then it's Jim Gregory. Then we have John Paytis. Then the old dirt track Douglas. And of course the Douglas was the very first purpose-built machine, speedway machine, in 1929. Then the dirt track Rudge took over in 1930, and that's what most of the riders are on. There is no time or result for this race because that is a demonstration. But although it's a demonstration, they like to win, and the winner was Bob Jones, 71 years old. Right, we have an urgent request from Gary Moon, the Australian sidecar driver. Does anybody have a spare radiator hose? Now we look over to the pits because there's something very special coming round now, because Ken Westaway and Phil Pittman have come all the way from St Austell with a very, very rare sidecar outfit. This is a 1952 650 Triumph that was raced at Plymouth, St Austell, Exeter, and even the Empire Stadium for Wembley. It was raced initially in the 50s by Roy Wettlake, famous Cornish racer, and now it's in the hands of Ken Westaway, who's got permanent loan of the machine. It used to house a Jack motor, now got the 650 Triumph. Ken Westaway for 18 years was a regular top-line grass track racer down there in the Cornish Centre, and his passenger, Phil Pittman. Well, you've probably heard of the name Pittman because he is the son of Terry Pittman, who used to race number 46, who finished third in the 1965 Southern Centre Grass Track Championships. So that's Phil Pittman, the son of Terry Pittman out there. A name long forgotten from the grass tracks. Now Phil Pittman has started racing this year on a Kawasaki with Justin Westaway, Ken's son, down in Cornwall. And already in the first season, Phil Pittman with Justin Westaway have had a fourth place, beating former Cornish champion Dave Westaway. And it looks like the Triumph has a few problems. It's misfiring. Ken Westaway the other week was up at Peterborough in front of 30,000 people in the BMF rally, demonstrated the machine. they're wearing the colours of St Austell. Now, St Austell Speedway closed in 1963, but the sidecars were still seen until 1986, because when Trevor Redmond ran the stock cars at St Austell Speedway, the sidecars used to race, the Speedway sidecars used to race with road tyres, and as recently as 1986, the sidecars were seen racing in a stock car meeting down there at St Austell. Of course, sadly, the old St Austell Speedway Stadium has been demolished for a DIY store. But history lives on with Ken Westerway and Phil Pittman and a 650 banked Aussie-style sidecar outfit.
I've now got with me Gary Moon. Gary, tremendous first race, great tussle with Alan Artist, but after race you had a few bike problems.
Yeah, well, the problem started during the race. The bike was missing.
We're having trouble talking over the old Japs. Come in, Gary. Can we start again? Great race, but a few bike problems as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it always happens at the worst time, but we'll get over it.
And you lost your second race, you went out on a strange bike and lost your passenger. What exactly happened there?
Well, the clutch was dragging and we had to have someone holding us back at the line. And I couldn't use any engine at the tapes. So when the tapes went up, I put some engine on and let the clutch out and it just stood up.
And if you can't get the parts for your bike, will you be able to borrow another bike, or does that put you out of the meeting?
I think it just about puts me out of the meeting.
And that's going to be a great shame, because your first ride was a really great ride against Alan Artist.
Well, the bike was flying and I was only on 2 cylinders then, so look out when it gets on 4.
Hard luck, Gary, and if you don't ride again tonight, let's look forward to seeing you action at Wolverhampton on Wednesday.
Yeah, you'll see us there.
Frantic action on the bike of Alan Artist now, and it's the World All-Stars team manager Mitch Shearer is giving Alan Artist all the help he can, and these bikes really going through it. They're all flat out here at Reading tonight, and as you heard from Gary Moon there, he's probably may well be out of the meeting already, but Alan Artist, such a key figure for England tonight. Alan and Mitch working there. Alan, in fact, just coming up now, and 5 points already from 2 rides for the England number 4, and it's very important for England that he's able to take his place in this race number 9. Now got with me Aaron Dwight, who's really going tremendously well for the World All-Stars at reserve. Your first visit to Reading, and you're going very well indeed.
Well, it's my first visit to England actually, but yeah, we're going good. My bike suits the track, it really likes it, and it's going really nicely. So.
What's the main difference in here at Reading than over in New Zealand?
There's a lot more dirt on the track. Tracks in New Zealand are a lot slicker, and the tracks are also a lot bigger in New Zealand.
You seem to be adapting pretty well to the tight corners here at Reading and doing a great job from reserve for the All-Stars.
Yeah, before the meeting, Mitch sort of said that he'd put me in reserve so they could toss me into positions in and out.
I think we're going to get knocked.
Now with only 2 points in it, England 2 points behind the world. We look to Heat 9, and the drivers, the lineup for Heat 9 is Rob Henderson and Martin Eden in red. In blue it's Alan Artist and Craig Hall, who are really flying just now. Then in white it should be Craig Bush and John Bowkett. And in yellow and black it's Steve Stanton and Tom Tuft. That's the lineup for Heat 9. Craig Bush is passenger John Bowkett. He's 24 years old, been racing 5 years. He's only been with Craig since January the 5th. And he's teamed up with Craig Bush. They won the New Zealand title. And since joining Craig, up until tonight, out of 38 starts, they've had 36 wins. An incredible amount of wins there. They haven't started too well tonight, but obviously the tracks over here are a lot different to what they are down under. Now let me tell you that the tyre, just have a look at Craig Bush's tyre. It's a 6-inch wide Marvick road race rim tyre. Very soft rim with a road race tyre on. And if you have a look at it, it is very, very wide for sidecar speedway. So have a look at that when it comes round now in white. Craig Bush.
Heat 9 making its way to the line. Craig Bush pointless from 2 rides so far on gate number 1. It's Rob Henderson on gate number 2. On 3, Steve Stanton, and on gate number 4 it's Alan Artist. He's now got his lever sorted out, the stones. A perfect start, and Artis in particular way. In fact, it's Henderson who gets first away. That's a bit of a surprise. Henderson leads, and it's Stanton going for line with the outs of Henderson. Artis comes right through from fourth, moves to third, and in fact hits the front. What a great ride there by Alan Artis. He's overslid there, and then all four in a bunch coming off that corner. Henderson, who led going in the corner, now finds himself at the back. That was fantastic sidecar action up that top corner as Artis shows in from Bosch. It's Stanton, Henderson, who led for the start, now finding himself at the back. And what a superb ride by Alan Artis. Picked his way right through from last and led coming off that top corner, and he's got a commanding lead now as he leads into the pits corner once again. It's Bosch in second, Stanton in third, Henderson at the back, and they move up the back straight, and Artis really powering on the power into that top corner, and who's on now on to lap number 4, well clear of Bosch, who's going to pick up his first points of the evening. It's still Stanton in third, Henderson at the back, so a 3-all situation on the cards again, and superb stuff from Alan Artis. That's 8 points from his opening 3 as he leads coming up the top corner, and through to complete a win there for Alan Artis. Wins a race in one hand, slid into the crowd as he crossed the line. Second, Craig Bosch. Third spot, it's Steve Stanton, and the rider who led the race, Rob Henderson, coming in last there in a very, very eventful heat number 9. In fact, they were all 4 together on that top corner on the first lap.
The results then of race 9, heat 9, a win in blue for Alan Artis and Craig Hall in a winning time of 68.8. Second in white, Craig Bush and John Bowkett. Third in yellow and black, Steve Stanton and Tom Tuft. Winning time again, 68.8. 3 points to England's Sunbright Tigers. 3 points to the Eurocar World All-Stars. 26 points to 28 points. Progressively.
26-28. We move over the page. Unbeaten Paul Pinfold rides in red, Albert Lewis rides in blue, Steve Horton in white, Gary Moon will ride if he's got a bike to ride. So I think the problem for England, with Rob Henderson struggling for points, there's not too much extra in the reserve jackeys. There might be Mick Cable going to ride to replace possibly Rob Henderson, and of course Albert Lewis also struggling for points with just 2 points from his 3 rides so far.
The New Zealand Speedway Control Board Championship, that's been running several years, but 1990 was the very first year for the ACU title, and that's the reason there's 2 New Zealand championships this year. So we've got 2 New Zealand champions over here in the UK, Craig Bush and Aaron Dwight.
See a bike coming. Here's Gary Moon. He's back on his old bike, so obviously I think there was a appeal out of the interval for some spares for his bike, and Gary in fact out on his own machine, which should make it very interesting indeed, because Paul Pinfold's won his first 2, Gary Moon won his first, then had got excluded, so it could be a pretty interesting race number 10. And it's going to be Steve Horton on gate 1. Albert Lewis is going to have gate 2. Gary Moon is going to have 3. That'll give Paul Pinfold gate 4. Could be a real interesting first corner. And a real hard first corner, I think, because Moon and Pinfold are going to give everything for those 3 and 4 gates as they settle for race 10. Away, and Pinfold's made a good gate, and Horton's going to win. Horton, in fact, leads the corner. Moon's got a line that Pinfold wants, and Pinfold finds himself right at the back of the mate. They went at the back straight, but Pinfold cuts back well on the inside, goes through for last a second. Moon gets back round Pinfold. Pinfold shoves Moon out and rolls his second spot. Real hard action there on that first corner. And there's still Horton, who shows in from Pinfold. Pinfold goes wide again. Moon trying to come back from on the inside. Lewis at the back as they move into the top corner for the second time, and a bit of a surprise this one. Steve Horton, the one we all forgot about, leads the race. He's gone too wide coming up that top corner, and Pinfold's back in the action again, and they're absolutely shoulder to shoulder. Pits corner, Horton goes out, Pinfold goes out. Who can straighten the wheels the quicker? Pinfold's got to run up the inside. They're shoulder to shoulder again, with Horton back round the outside. Pinfold again dives to come up the inside and leaves Horton absolutely nothing at all, and Pinfold really took the line that Horton wanted there, and Pinfold has come right through from last to first, and he leads at the back straight, and for the time and Tort in second. A somewhat subdued George Moon in third. Lewis at the back. Fantastic sidecar action there in heat number 10 as Paul Penfold comes right through for last to win heat 10 in absolutely scintillating style. Second, Steve Horton. Third spot, Gary Moon. Terrific race there by Paul Penfold because it was Horton had made a good gate and Penfold was last going into this first corner. He picked up his took his time and eventually picked off Steve Horton. And I say again, when you see Paul Penfold in the pits with his stick, it's almost unbelievable that he can go out and perform like that on a speedway sidecar, coming right through from last to first. That's 9 out of 9 for the England skipper. Brilliant racing there in heat 10 and tremendous applause from the crowd here at Reading tonight.
Well, some fantastic racing there for heat 10. That's going to go down in the record books as one of the best races ever seen on speedway there. And in first place in red, let's hear it then for Paul Penfold and Pete Foster. Winning time for that fantastic race was 68.4. 68.4. Second in white, and didn't he try, Steve Horton and Glenn Golding. Third in yellow and black, Gary Moon and Paul Norton. 3 points to England, 3 points to the World All-Stars, 29-31. Just 2 points in it, with the World All-Stars in front by 2 points, 68.4. And a great win for Paul Penfold and Pete Foster.
So on the track they come for race 11. Shane Soutar first on the track. 2 second places so far for the Australian number 1. Warren Stanton is partner in yellow and black. It's Brian Ash in red and Mark Newsom in blue. And that's the programme for race 10.
I still have Johnny Fenton with me from Western Australia. Tell me, Johnny, have you seen many races out there down under like that one? I'm sure that has to go down as one of the best.
Certainly, that was terrific effort, really top stuff. That's the sort of things that sidecars do to you. It really gets the adrenaline pumping, makes the fans start cheering and really get behind it. I think it was tremendous racing. That's good effort to see down under.
There we go then, thank you, Johnny.
So into line for a race 11. It's Warren Stanton, gate 1. Brian Ash, gate 2. Shane Soutar, gate 3. Mark Newson, gate 4. Newson again makes a good gate with the 4 again. Ash gets boxed out in the first corner. Soutar gets ahead of Newson. They seem to lock up there. I think they're caught up. In fact, Soutar and Newson were caught up, and while they were caught up at the front, it was Warren Stanton who went through it. Brian Ash gets the lead as he moves off that top corner and the complete one. Ash goes wide, and it's Stanton trying to look for line through on the inside. Ash then from Stanton. Soutar in third. Newson at the back. And that's Shorter coming off the pit score, up the back straight they go for the second time, and Noose is starting to get closer to Soutar for that crucial third, and the Australian number 1 not having a very happy evening here at Reading this evening, as Ash still shows in from Stanton. Soutar in third, Noose at the back, so can Brian Ash pick up his first 3 points of the evening as he leads, while in control now into that top corner for the third time, and Noose again trying to get inside Soutar. Noose in fact has left the track. He clearly went off the track there, so obviously he'll be excluded for the second time tonight. He looks up the referee's box, much to say that it's Soutar who's caused me the problem, and Soutar in fact, well, that was happening, has moved through into second as Brian Ash leads into the top corner for the time and through for 3 good points in race 11. Second is Shane Soutar, flipping the boards again as he crosses the line, and Newson comes late and almost pinched the third spot from Warren Stanton. There are no exclusion lights on by referee Brodie, but I think Newson not happy with the treatment that he was getting from Soutar, and they're going up the back straight together. They clearly locked up as they went into the first corner, and obviously Newson pointing up to the referee's box to say that he's the reason that I've left the track, which he clearly did going up that back straight. But the first winning ride of the evening for Brian Ash, and it's what's Mark Newson going to do? He looks up to the referee's box, much to say, well, that wasn't really my fault, but Graham Brodie will make the decision. But a good win there for Brian Ash into Morgan Action, race 11.
In first place in red, Brian Ash and Steve Robbins in a time of 69.6. 69.6. Second in white, Shane Soutar and Glenn MacDonald. Third in yellow and black, Warren Stanton and Beth Litterick. And of course fourth, the unlucky Mark Newsom and Brian Higgins. Winning time 69.6. 3 points to the England Sunbright Tigers. 3 points to the Eurocar World All-Stars. with the progressive score now 32 to 34 in favour of the World All-Stars.
Back in the pits, you see the action on Paul Pinfold's bike in the next race. Paul, the only unbeaten rider in the meeting at the moment, and along with partner Alan Ardis, who's got 8 points from 3 rides, the 2 top scoring riders in the meeting so far. But, not a lot of room, of course, in the pits for these bigger sidecar bikes in, as the England #1 about to go out to race in race number 12. It looks like he's going to be partnered by Alan Ardis in this one. That really would be a tremendous partnership. This is the race. I think England have got to be looking to try and get some maximum points out. They've got the Pinfold Artist partnership. Artist 8 out of 9, Pinfold 9 out of 9, and they're against Craig Bush and Steve Horton. Craig Bush, of course, just got 2 points so far. Steve Horton 7, so it could be a good race. There's only been one 5-1 all evening. That was, of course, when Mark Newson was excluded, of course, in race number 8, and if England want to snatch victory, they're 2 down at the moment. They've got to be looking for maximum points out of race number 12. The reserve race, one would think that Aaron Dwight, the way he's ridden, he should take care of that one. Sutar and Moon, I think Moon might not be riding in race number 13. Anyway, race 12 at the gate, and it really should be a cracker. Paul Pinfold unbeaten gate 1. It's Steve Horton on gate 2. Alan Ardis gate 3, Craig Bosch gate number 4. Heat 12 at the tapes, green lights on, and it's Bosch a bit anxious down the 4, get away they go. Pinfold's made a good gate. Ardis tries to get a bit. Horton gets on the inside of Ardis, forces Ardis wide in that pit squad, and Bosch trying to come through as well. As Pinfold already at the front, and Ardis makes a mistake on the pit squad and finds himself at the back, and that's bad news for England at the moment. As Pinfold still shows them for Ardis, Bosch in 3rd, Ardis at the back, and he's got to get into a scoring position, and he moves to in the 3rd and locks up and forwards, pushes Bosch on the safety fence on the pit squad. He really shoves Bosch out there. He's through to 3rd. Ring and looking for a 2nd place from him now, as Pinfold has got the race in his pocket. It's still Horton in 2nd. It's Ardis in 3rd, and a lot to do if he wants that 2nd spot. They roar into the pits corner once again. Pinfold is past you, rubs the floors, he holds his lead coming off that pits corner. It's still Horton in 2nd, and Ardis makes a lot of ground on the inside, goes for line round the outside, gets in the loose shell and almost lost his 3rd space to Bosch. Can he get back for 2nd? They're on to lap 4. Pinfold's well away at the front. It's still Horton who grimly hangs on to that 2nd spot, and Ardis trying all he knows but still can't find a way through. It's a 4-2 that'll bring back England level, but I think they were looking for maximum points. Ardis again 2 wide in that top corner. He gets a crucial 3rd. Pinfold unbeaten from 4. 2nd, a good ride there is Steve Horton, and the 3rd spot a great ride. He completely lost it on the 1st corner, did Alan Ardis. Paul Pinfold looks back to see what position Alan Ardis got. The answer was 3rd. It brings them back level, but I think that strong combination for England had to be looking for maximum points there in race number 12. But unbeaten Paul Pinfold continues his winning ways and gets a good hand for the grandstand. That's 4 absolutely superb rides there for the England #1.
The result of Heat 12, a win in red for Paul Pinfold and Pete Voster. Winning time 67.1. 67.1. 2nd in yellow, Steve Horton and Glenn Golding. 3rd in blue, Alan Ardis and Craig Hall. 4 points to England, 2 points to the World All-Stars, 36 points each, and the 2 teams draw level. What a great test match to start the test off. 36 points each, with only a few heats to go. The lineup for race 13, heat 13 in red, it's Brian Ash, and Steve Robbins. In blue, it will be Rob Henderson and Martin Eden. In white, Shane Suter and Glenn McDonald. And in yellow and black, there is a change because out go Gary Moon and Paul Norton, and in comes Steve Stanton and Tom Tuft. That's the lineup for Heat 13. Shortly, the raffle will be held, and Brian Ash's daughter, Nikki, will be doing the draw. Little girl by the name of Nikki will be doing the draw. Brian Ash's daughter. Also, a special mention, if you can hear, down in the pits, also in the bar, if the ladies are in the bar, the wives and the families of all the drivers and passengers, a big thank you from the World of Rebels for Paul Pinfold and Anne Pinfold for all the help and the assistance you've given the drivers. That's the wives and the families. Thank you very much indeed for your assistance.
Aaron Dwight, when he comes out in race 14, will have his 5 rides. Rob Henderson holds his place. One would have thought possibly Mick Cave might have come in, but Henderson holds his place. They settle the gate for race number 14, and it's Sutar who makes a good gate. Henderson in fact away, and Henderson again leads the corner. Sutar gets round Henderson. Henderson in second, Ash in third, and Stan to the reserve substitution at the back. They make their way into the top corner for the first time, and Sutar has won a race so far. So he looks to be might win this race number 13 as he leads off the pits corner for the second time. It's Henderson in second, Ash in third. Ash comes along, so Henderson might well be better to stop with Rob Henderson and make sure he gets the third spot. Might Brian Ash, if he leaves Henderson to attack from Stan to the Rebels. All Stars might get a 4-2. As Sutar well away at the front now as he leads at the back straight for the third time. It's Salash in second, Henderson in third, Stanton at the back as they make their way into the top corner for the third time. So that's going to keep it all square as they stop like this. As Sutar well away with a 30-40 yard lead now as he leads at the back straight for the final time. And Stanton in fact is packed up and comes at him formula rather quick rate of knots here across the centre green. As Sutar well away from Ash, it's Henderson in third as Sutar wins it. Second, Brian Ash. Third spot, Rob Henderson. And my word, you've got to be pretty quick here at the middle, as I suddenly realised there were only 3 outfits. Look behind, and Steve Stanton was heading for me at a fair rate of knots. We hope he hasn't damaged too much of air equipment there, as my fellow cameraman gets the laugh on me, as I suddenly realised I'd lost an outfit and was being mowed down pretty rapidly on the centre green.
In first place, in white, it was Shane Suter and Glenn McDonald. In a winning time of 67.6. 67.6. Second in red, Brian Ash and Steve Robbins. Third in blue, Rob Henderson and Martin Eden. 3 points to the England Sunbright Tigers. 3 points to the Eurocar World All-Stars. 39 points each. 39 points each. What a cracker. Winning time 67.6. Paul Pinfold's passenger, Pete Foster from South Africa. He's one of the world's best sidecar passengers. Been in the seat there 12 years. He used to be passenger for Gary Kersey. He's 39 years old, is Pete, and Gary Kersey was the South African champion. How he started, he got into the sport after the Australian Walker brothers brought machines over to South Africa and started the sport off down there. And of course, ever since he's been involved. And he was South African champion passenger 3 times, the Natal champion, he was 1 year, the Transvaal champion 2 years. In 1982 he had a bad accident and he decided to leave and go to Australia. He went to Australia and he passengered for Full McIntyre, one of the champions out there, who won in 85, 86 and 87. And then of course he passengered for Paul in 1989. And I believe he's thinking about staying over here in the UK permanently. And the lineup for Heat 14, in red, we have Mick Cave and Alan Cave. In blue, it's Mark Newsom and Brian Higgins. In white, we have a change, because out goes Steve Stanton and Tom Tuft. And in come Leon Vermack from South Africa, with Clive Malloy as the passenger. And in yellow and black, it's Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear.
So the change of Leon Vermaat coming in for Steve Stanton for race 14. And the bracket start there, and it's Vermaat, in fact. It's this Dwight, in fact, who makes a good gate. Aaron Dwight, of course, only dropped 1 point so far. He leads at the back straight the first time. It's Newson second, came in third, and Vermaat, who's got to get used to conditions, finding himself way at the back, so it stays like this. It will go into a last heat decided, and one must say it may well favour the England Rebels. As Dwight leads at the back straight, I don't think he's too happy about his bike there. You can see his hands go up on the, as he goes half up that back straight for the second time. He's coming under pressure for Newson. Cave in third, and this looking pretty good for the English Rebels if they can share this race 14. As Dwight leads at the back straight once again. Again, he's still not happy with the bike, but still he has his lead. It's Newson who they're chasing hard in second. Cave will be back in third. Vermaat really tailed off at the back now as they move on to lap number 4, and one of the less exciting races of the evening. They're pretty well spread out now as they make their way up the back straight for the top. What a great little spin for Aaron Dwight as he leads into that top corner for the top and through to win race 14. Second is Mark Newson, third spot Mick Cave. That is us going into the last heat level, and I would say that could well favour the English Rebels. Obviously I would think it's going to be Pinfold and Artis who are going to ride, and they really must stand a great chance of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat in this first sidecar test. But what a great advert again for Sidecar Speedway it's been tonight. A win for Aaron Dwight, 14 points and 5 reserve rides he's picked up, only beaten by Paul Pinfold.
The results of heat 14, race 14. In first place in yellow, Aaron Dwight and Mark Goodyear for the World All-Stars in a winning time of 67.4. 67.4. Second in blue, Mark Newson and Brian Higgins. Third in red, Mick Cave and Alan Cave. 3 points to the England Sunbright Tigers. 3 points to the Eurocar World All-Stars. 42 points apiece. 67.4.
So we move into a tremendous last heat decider, and who would have thought this, but really I would think now that the England Rebels must be favourites, and what a great start to the series. If they can win this one, it'll really make people sit up and take notice for the remainder of the series. So Paul Pinfold's looking for a 15-point maximum. Alan Artis has got 9 from his 4 rides. Shane Sutar, he's got 9 from 4, and Steve Horton, he's also got 9 from 4. So they're all good boys in this one. And England have got 1 in 3. It's going to be Alan Artis to have at gate 1, Shane Horton gate number 2, Steve Horton gate 2, Paul Pinfold gate 3, Shane Sutar gate 4. Away, and Pinfold's made a good gate, but Artis has made a bad start. He's got to get his points back, and Horton tries to get inside Pinfold, pushes Pinfold wide, and Pinfold's running the room as Horton gets through. And here comes Artis in the action. Well, Artis comes through from third to first, and Pinfold gets round the outside, and Sutar, in fact, has left the circuit and gone on to centre green. And that puts him into the action, and Artis' bike has gone. That's interfered with Pinfold as Horton shows now from Pinfold. What tremendous drama. Can Artis keep the bike going with the third as Pinfold works back through and hits the front? Pinfold shows with Horton. If Artis can keep the bike going, of course he would pick up a crucial third, but I think he's going to be lapped. He's not going quick enough to get through for a third, but Pinfold still shows them in Horton. Pinfold goes wide, Horton comes to line through on the inside, and Artis scoots the bike onto the edge of the track. Of course, he's now been lapped, which of course it means he won't score. But Pinfold has the advantage for England now. What a dramatic final heat as Pinfold leads into the pits corner once again. It's Horton in second.
Here we go then. The end of the first test, and England take it. got some more sidecar action after the interval, but what a start. Just been told there'll be no interval, so track staff, if you'd like to stay on the centre green, there will be no interval. Track staff, no interval. Anyway, the results of race 15. First in red, Paul Penfold and Pete Foster. Second in yellow, Steve Horton and Glenn Golding. No third finisher. Winning time was 68.2, 68.2. 3 points to the England Sunbright Tigers, 2 points to the Eurocar World All-Stars, and the final result of the very first test between England and the World All-Stars, 45 points to England, 44 points to the World All-Stars. What a fantastic start, only 1 point in it. In red, it's Brian Ash with Steve Robbins. In blue, it's Terry Phillips and Kevin Williams. It's the first time I'm going to see Terry on the track today. Terry Phillips and Kevin Williams. In white, the South African Leon Vermaak. Leon Vermaak, South Africa. And Leon has a passenger by the name of Clive Malloy in the chair. Clive is a former Midland solo crash track ace. Clive Malloy in white. And in yellow and black, it's Rob Henderson.
So into line they come for race 16. Brian Ash in red, Terry Phillips, his first one of the evening, in blue, Leon Vermaak in white, and Rob Henderson in yellow and black. It's Brian Ash who's got gate number 1, Leon Vermaak gate 2, Terry Phillips gate 3, Rob Henderson gate number 4. First one of the evening for Terry Phillips, they settle, and it's Henderson again making a quick gate in the 4 gate, but Ash gets through on the inside. It's Ash who shows from Terry Phillips. In fact, in a second he goes wide, but Mac gets through on the into Phillips. Henderson packed up at the back, as it's Ash who shows in from Vermaak. Terry Phillips in third. Rob Henderson's already packed up and put on the centre green just behind us, as Brian Ash leads now as they come to complete one. It's Vermaak in second. It's still Terry Phillips in third, and that's short at the back straight for the second time, and Phillips takes in close toward Ron Vermaak as they move into the top corner once again. Ash goes wide, Vermaak comes for line up the inside, but still Ash holds Vermaak at bay. Phillips not too far behind as they make their way into the pits corner once again. Ash again overslides, Vermaak's for a quick one coming off the line. Phillips getting back to Vermaak as they move into the top corner for the third time, and it's Phillips again looking for an opening on the inside of Vermaak, and Vermaak goes wide coming off that top corner. They're almost together, Vermaak and Phillips. They move on to lap 4. Brian Ash comfortably in control at the front. Phillips again makes a dive on the inside of Vermaak and gets her inside Vermaak. Vermaak back round the outside. Vermaak in fact slowing down on the outside line. Let's tell you, Phillips through for a second. Phillips overslides. Vermaak comes again as Brian Ash wins it. Second, Leon Vermaak, and Terry Phillips, in fact, his bike is packed up on the last corner. He got a safe second spot in his pocket when his bike packed up on the line. So win there for Brian Ash. Second, Leon Vermaak, and Terry Phillips just pushed the bike home for a third place.
The results of race 16. In first place in red, Brian Ash and Steve Robbins in a winning time of 71 seconds. Second in white was Leon Vermaak from South Africa with Clive Malloy in the chair. Third in blue, Terry Phillips and Terry's passenger Kevin Williams. I'll pass you over to Jim Head. He's going to fill him in all the news. The radio model.
Lots of news coming from the pits. Obviously, they really are looking forward to a fabulous test series this year. Those dates, make sure you've all got firmly in your diaries already. But talking to the riders in the pits, they're telling me you changed the circuit already. Well, the news is yes, the circuit was in fact looked after during the winter. The riders indeed have noticed they maintained the gearing, etc. What we saw now for the 18. So if you're looking forward to another race, what sort of problems we had. You've probably seen the
engines have been suffering. The guys maintain that's because they're getting every ounce of power they can to the ground on the start line. The start, of course, being so important.
That's it, Gigovic, Smallmate Racing, even Sunrise Tigers, and the Eurocar World All-Star, what a fantastic night of racing. Congratulations to both teams. And we must forget the mascot referee, Jim Shearer, and their vehicles, and the manager, of course, really Jim Shearer, and Mick Shearer. And here we have the veterans now on the track. Veterans, of course, have taken the place of the desert racers who couldn't make it here tonight. And this time out on a road with the yellow helmet and the pre-war Hackney body colour on the inside in the infield is Brian Bassett, former Hackney Cycle Speedway rider. On the outside, winner of the last demonstration race, Bob Jones. Bob on a Rudge, 71 years of age, former Swindon and Bristol rider. Then is Alan Paytis. Alan Paytis rode for grass track. He actually didn't ride Speedway, but he rode for Cycle Speedway for West Ham. And he also did car rally driving. That's Alan Paytis. Then the most famous vintage racer of them all, in the pudding basin helmet on the dirt track Rudge, with the old Oxford body colour on, Jim Gregory. Started just after the war, did Jim, and he's still going strong now, well into his 60s. And the other rider, John Paytis, and John Paytis is on a screaming two-stroke Scott. Scott, of course, was raced by Frank Very many years ago, and only a few years ago in the Diamond Jubilee year, a certain Paul Pitfold raced a Scott up at Coventry in a demonstration. And bringing up the rear is Jim Heritage, Midland grass track ace. But back to the front we go, and it's Bob Jones and Jim Gregory. Back into the 50s, Bob Jones rode for Swindon, Jim Gregory rode for Oxford. He was the captain in 1953. And these two riders had many battles back in the 50s, yes, 40 years ago, and still going strong. Bob Jones, 71 years old, and Jim Gregory is about 64 years old. Then we have the youngster behind Alan Paytis. And then it's Brian Bassett, who's also fairly young. But if you'd like to have a look at these machines, they'll be in the pits. So up in the pits after the racing, have a look at these machines, grand old machines. In fact, I believe they're parked so as you can see them, the other side of the wire fence there, on the pit's bend. But Bob Jones, who started grass track racing when he was underage and he rode on the Rawton mountain grass track at Rawton. That's Bob Jones. Started underage before the war, would you believe? Bob Jones. Jim Gregory, former captain of Oxford Speedway, is second. Then is Alan Paytis. Then is Brian Bassett. And then we have the two-stroke Scott. There it is. Hear the roar as it goes past the grandstand. That's Alan Paytis, his son, John Paytis. And then we have grass tracker there, Jim Heritage, who rode many a meeting with Clyde Malloy, who was in the chair of Leon Urbach today. From St Austell in Cornwall, Ken Westaway, the former grass track ace, with Phil Pittman in the chair. They're on a 1952 650 Triumph ex-Roy Wedlake machine, and this is the sort of machine that was raced back in the 50s, 40s, 50s and 60s in fact. And the great Jim Davis, who dominated Australian Speedway from 1939 to 1962, used to race a Jap-powered machine just like the one you're seeing out there. And of course, sidecar racing has been going since the 30s over in Australia. And there we go, Ken Westaway and Phil Pittman. And of course, Phil Pittman is the son of Terry Pittman, who raced on the grass many years ago. And would you believe that going back in time for those grass track fans here, 25 years ago at the Southern Centre Championships, Terry Pitton came third with W. Woodward as passenger on a 650 Triumph. Yellow. And Leon Vermack goes off the gate. Brian Ash goes off 10 yards. Aaron Twine goes off 15.
No, not going.
Also in the same program, Nick Marcus.
I'm going out like this. Hello, Mum.
So the riders making their way up the gate for the final race of the evening. Leon Vermack goes off the gate. Brian Ash goes off 10 yards. Steve Horton off 20 yards. And Paul Pinfold has got to give them 30 yards. So as far as we know, it's only 4 laps. They sometimes do give it an extra lap for the handicap, but as far as we know, it's just the 4 laps. As Leon Vermack from South Africa goes up to the gate. Brian Ash moves over in the 10-yard mark. Steve Horton on the 20-yard mark, and Paul Pinfold unbeaten all evening way back on the 30-yard mark. Green light comes on, and Vermack already rushes the tapes, comes back, gets himself in the racing order away, and Vermack makes a start. Ash Horton makes a quick line, already starting to close up on Ash. They make their way into the pit score the first time. It's Vermack from Ash, Horton in third. Pinfold still at the back as they move into the top corner for the first time. Pinfold taking closer orders. Still Vermack leads, coming to complete one. Ash in second, Horton third. Pinfold at the back, and Pinfold closing up on Horton. Nobody at the moment can claw back the stagger, as it's still Vermack who leads at the back straight now. Pinfold really having to go at Horton for that third spot, and Pinfold gets inside Horton, moving to third. Tries to get inside Ash. Ash closes him down as they move to the complete two. Vermack from Ash, Pinfold in third. Pinfold goes for second as Ash tries to get inside Vermack. Pinfold tries to get round Ash, gets round Ash, and has a lot on Vermack. Tremendous Ash comes back inside Pinfold. Tremendous action now as they make their way into that top corner. They're 3 abreast, and Pinfold's got a line right round the outside as Vermack leads now as they move on to lap 4, and Pinfold hits the front in absolutely scintillating style. Vermack in second, Ash in third, and here comes Horton inside Ash to move through the second as Pinfold leads into the top corner once again. What a tremendous ride again by Paul Pinfold. He has his buddies now as they move surely onto another lap goes by. And still Pinfold shows them for Horton. Ash in third. Vermack now finding himself way at the back after leading from the gate as they move into the top corner and getting the last lap flag. This time it must have been 6 laps, I would have thought, as Paul Pinfold leads now onto the final lap. Horton in second, Ash in third, Vermack at the back. So Paul Pinfold going to go through a complete night's racing, totally unbeaten as he leads into that top corner for the full time. What a superb example of sidecar speedway action by the England number 1. Paul Pinfold wins it. Second, Steve Horton. Third spot, Brian Ash. And Lee Vermack, who started from the gate, comes in last in an absolutely scintillating night's racing there. Absolutely tremendous stuff from Paul Pinfold. We weren't told how many laps it was. I think that was 6, but Paul Pinfold had already picked them up to just 4 laps. They went into that top corner on the 3rd lap, 4 abreast. But tremendous stuff there from the England number 1. Steve Horton comes up to congratulate him, and a brilliant way to end an absolutely brilliant night's racing with Paul Pinfold. 15 points in the match. Wins the handicap from the maximum 30-yard mark, salutes the crowd who've stayed on to watch this tremendous handicap final. And really the winners, I think, tonight have been the people who've come to Reading Stadium and watched some superb sidecar speedway action.
Paul Pinfold and Pete Foster, when they get their helmets off, you give them a big cheer, ladies and gentlemen, because they deserve it. Twice they've come from the back, from last to first. What do you think of that, Jim Head?
Well, I think nothing short than I would have expected. Caught me on the hop there, Dave, but yes, I was up with the action. And indeed, what a fabulous win for Paul Pinfold. Great to see him in action. I can only wait to see what the series is going to unfold to be, because how are they going to keep up with the racing we've seen tonight? The word is from the guys in the pits that they're going to start working on machinery now, and they'll have it exactly right for the 18th. What a spectacular night that promises to be.
Thank you, Jim, and we'll be hearing more of Jim throughout the test series, I'm sure. But here we go down on the centre green now, because Paul Pinfold and Pete Foster are going to take their trophies from the one and only Malcolm Holloway. Malcolm Holloway, of course, rode for Swindon, and then he joined Reading. And of course, next week is his farewell meeting. And here he is, presenting the trophies to two of the greatest sidecar racers in the world. Probably the greatest. We saw Darren Trelaw going very well last year, but what about these two? Paul Penfold and Pete Foster, twice come from fourth to first. And they get their trophies. Give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Penfold and Pete Foster! Now, if you like sidecar racing, don't forget, Wednesday, June the 6th, it's at Wolverhampton. Saturday, June the 9th, it's Swindon. Saturday, June the 16th, Cradley. Don't forget, back here for the Empire Classic, the individual event, the forerunner of the World Championship, I'm sure. That's the 18th. And then, of course, it's back to Eastbourne for June the 23rd and the final one. And it's special thanks to all the staff of the World of Rebels organisation, and special thanks to Pat Bliss and our helpers, Tony Porter and Jeff Seeley and all the other staff, Edna and all the other people here at Reading Speedway for allowing the sidecars to come here to Small Meat Stadium.
I've now got with me in the pitch the England hero, Paul Penfold. Paul, you worked hard all day to get this meeting off the ground, and you ended it in absolutely scintillating style tonight.
Yeah, I surprised myself in that one. But it's been good racing all night. It's been so close. It's even score right down to the end, but it just shows how good the sidecars are getting there. There's nothing between them.
As you say, a tremendous tight match, just the right result in the end, but I think really the winners tonight were the people on the terraces who watched some fantastic racing tonight.
That's right. I don't think they've seen racing like that for a long time. Hopefully they'll come on Wednesday to the second test match, and we'll never know what'll happen there. So.
And again, you came off the 30-yard mark. Did you realise it was 5 laps? You got by them so quickly. You had 2 laps to spare.
Yeah, I weren't really sure whether it was 4 or 5, and I thought, well, I'll just try my hardest for the first couple of laps.
How difficult is it coming? It's hard enough when you start off together, Paul. How difficult is it coming from 30 yards on a small track like this?
Everything has to go right for you. It's just the brakes come at that time. There was gaps everywhere, and I took them, but sometimes there's just no gaps and you can't do it.
And obviously it'll probably require a different racing technique at Wolverhampton, quite a bit smaller than Reading.
Yeah, the track is tighter there, and it's a bit slicker too. The track was really nice tonight. There's a lot of drive out there, but Wolverhampton's quite a bit tighter, so I think you'll find that on different tracks, the sidecars aren't like solos, and you find that there's some bikes shine on some tracks and not on others, so it's a mixed bag the whole test, I think.
Tremendous support again for you tonight from Alan Artis, backed you up and got the crucial points again for you.
That's right, he's a superb rider, and that was the first time out on a brand new bike tonight, so hopefully he's going to get things together and start flying now.
Thanks so much, Paul, and a tremendous start to the series and a super nice racing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.